I am super excited today because today I have the kick-ass boomer Terry Lohrbeer here on the channel, and she is an advanced reader, and so I just wanted to get some feedback from her. But before we start, Lori, I always call you Lori. Is that
Right.
something? Because of your last name. So,
Uh-huh.
but of course, Terry. But here you see, we just talked about it. What is life? Yeah, life is everything, all the good, the bad, and everything in between, right?
And
All
the
the
ugly, the
Thanksgiving.
good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, that's right. But Terry, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners and just in short, tell us who you are and what you do?
Okay, my name's Terry Lohrbeer, and I host a podcast called Kick Ass Boomers. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years. And I was doing it while I was still working as a realtor, a full time realtor in Pennsylvania. I've recently retired from that after 20 years, and now I'm fully getting into being, doing more on my podcast, Kick Ass Boomers. So I have over 200 episodes at this point, and I'll be adding a lot more to it. And I interview boomers who are doing kick ass things, wonderful things into their 70s, 80s, and beyond. So a lot of inspiration for older people.
Right. And I was just interviewed by you as well. So I can't wait for our episode to come out. And of course, I will share that everywhere on my social media because it was such a lovely conversation. And I got to know you even more during that conversation. And what I love about it is that you have that energy that is contagious, and there is no end to anything. We can say, oh, this is it, right? And that's what I love about you. Now, we both met this year in January at the Podfest Expo in Orlando, Florida. And it was quite an interesting what meet cute, or cute meet, not meet cute, I think that's an expression, which is like so unexpected, but it was just we just hit it off. So
Right.
from your recollection, how was our meeting in Orlando?
It was amazing because I had just been through the expo to look at all the vendors, and I walked out and there you were doing a little video recording with someone, and you mesmerized me right away. I went right over. I knew you were a kick-ass boomer. I said, I got to go take a look at this. And then I saw the book in your hand, Gumption. I couldn't hear what you were saying because it was all going right into the recording, but I knew you were someone I wanted on my podcast. So I waited for you to be done, introduced myself when you were finished, and it was like we were old friends. Like we have so much in common. It was an immediate click. It was wonderful. It was really nice.
Oh, fantastic. And I must say, I felt the same. You just came up. And just for our listeners, how powerful conventions are and
Yes.
in-person events, because there is a difference in communication. If you either get an email, hello, do you want to be on my podcast? Or hello, I want to be on your podcast.
Right.
Then meeting someone, having that connection, having that conversation right away. And you said, how can I get a hold of your book? I said, sure, it's now available for pre-order. But since
Right.
you're here, I can give you also a signed advanced copy. And that's what happened.
She did. Here it is.
Ah.
And I finished reading it within, I mean, I'm still unpacking. I made a big move from Pennsylvania to Florida. So I'm still unpacking and organizing, but I got through it in a couple of days. It was mesmerizing. It reads like a novel almost. So, like, when you hear memoir, sometimes they can be boring, but no, this was so exciting. And you've done so many exciting things in your life. So it was really mesmerizing, the whole book. I really, and then you're getting inspired while you're reading it because I'm like, wow, if she could do that, I can do that. So it was really inspirational.
Yeah, that was my reason for doing this. And as I shared before in previous episodes, I didn't want to write my memoir last year. It was not on my radar. But as so often, there is a person that inspires you, and then there are events that happen in the right timing that gave you that opportunity, that gave me that opportunity to say yes to a New York publisher, Morgan James Publishing, who wanted to publish that book that was not even written. And
That's amazing, because most people write the book first and then try and get it published and have trouble, but they came to you even beforehand. So that's amazing.
yes, yes. And it was such a wonderful experience because there was an opportunity where you could pitch your book to that publisher. And of course, I didn't have a book at that time, but there was the idea in the back of my head one day, right? And
Right, right.
oftentimes that one day never comes.
You're
Think
right.
about that because we don't know our expiration date. So I said, well, I always listen to my intuition and to the guidance and those signs, the silver linings. So I went for it, and I made an appointment, and I talked to the director of publishing at that point, and I said, to be quite honest, I don't have a book yet, but people told me I should write my memoirs because my life is so colorful. So here are two stories that I think are very impactful. So let me share it with you and just get your input, right?
Right.
And as soon as I was done, the director of publishing was very quiet, and I said, "Oh, maybe it's not that good, right?" But her reply was, "You're a good storyteller." That's what I'm known for. I'm the storytelling dame from Germany, right? Because of my background as actress and director.
Right.
But she said, I was taken by your story. And there was one time where I had to hold back my tears a little. And I was like, wow. And she said, you got to write this book. But interesting, there's always that I don't know. So you know what I did? I said, well, maybe they offer everybody to their book, right?
Right.
Because there's also an investment on your end, right? This is what the book publishing industry is today.
Yeah.
Unless you are a past president or first lady or whatever, or a very famous person, they come to you and say, "Can please, here,
Right.
we give you an advance," because they know they will sell your book. An advance means what it is. It's not that they just give you that money.
Right.
They will sell the book so that they get that in return. But for just the average person, this is not how it works any longer. And I learned a lot in the book writing process. And one of the things is you can self-publish, which I had done before. But if you have a publisher, a New York publisher that is a legit one,
Yes.
then there are several advantages to it. But you still have a lot of skin in the game, how I call it, your time, money, everything.
Yep.
So now go back to when I was a little bit hesitant. Do they take everybody? So I searched, and luckily we have so much information now through AI. I quickly found out they get, that was last year, I don't know how this year, but they get about 5,000 pitches, and they take about 150. It's 3%.
Wow. Yeah. See? Yeah. You were
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I
She
guess so.
she knew the book was going to sell. It's really a fascinating book. It's fun to read, and then it inspires you, and you get all the emotions going through what you went through over the years. So it's just really a fun book to read.
And you can relate to it as well. And as we had our
Yes.
conversation, what struck you the most that you think many like you yourself or many others go through and maybe not take that next step? Was there one thing in particular?
Well, I've always been one that will take the next step. Even when I'm fearful, I will go ahead and do it. But I really was amazed that even as a young girl, you were always listening to your intuition. And I found that I did most of the time too. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that. When they get this little small voice that says, oh, you should do this, it's like in their head and they're like, oh, no, 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 no. They're afraid and they just don't do it. But I've always been one to say, well, maybe I should try. And you are too. So you always, so I think by people hearing that, they don't realize how powerful that little voice is. They really don't realize. And I've always told my kids that if you get any kind of an instinct or a little voice that says, do this or don't do this, if you're moving into a dangerous situation and you're picking up that there's trouble here, I better get out. Don't stay. But too many people don't listen, and then they get into that situation and now they're in a massive mess. So I've taught my children to listen to intuition, and I have over the years too, and it's taken me down a lot of crazy roads, but it's exciting, and I have no regrets, but a lot of people do, and I don't want older people to have regrets. And it's never too late to start listening. There's still a lot of exciting things we can do as older people.
Yes, and I highly recommend you are checking out the Kick-Ass Boomer podcast, because I will also put it in the chat, but because now I'm coming to the because it's inspiring.
Yes.
And you will get ideas and you will be motivated to take actions, because even after retirement, life is not over.
No.
It's just beginning. And there's so many people who finish life, and when you ask them what is your biggest regret, they never say, I wish I had spent more hours in the office.
Never.
They say, I wish I have taken more risks.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I have pursued my dreams. I wish I had. And I can tell you right now, no matter where you are, what you have, you can start today with anything you want to do, even if you don't know the how yet.
Yes, because the how opens up as you go along. You take those baby steps and you learn one thing, and then another opportunity is there, or a mentor that's going to guide you. Somebody is there to guide you along the way. So you don't need all green lights the whole road down. You just need to take that first step and things will open up. So you have to get rid of the fear. The fear is just not helping you. Take that first step and more steps will follow.
Right. So what do you do when fear appears for you?
I just kind of start looking at the positives. One thing you can do if you're afraid of doing something is make a list, put a line down the middle of your paper and put the good things that'll come out of this and maybe the bad things, and start making your list. And hopefully the good side is a lot bigger than the bad side. And then you go, well, this is a no-brainer. I got to move ahead. And there'll be things along the way that, you'll kind of trip and stumble, but you'll get through it. I mean, I actually went to Germany at age 19, and my sister was supposed to come with me. But way back then, the long distance calls were so expensive. We had made all the arrangements. My sister backed out at the last minute. I had already quit my job. I was working as a hairdresser, quit my job, had my ticket. So I was going no matter what. So I got on that plane by myself. And that's when your parents could walk all the way up to the gate with you, and I could wave to them from the airplane, and I'm thinking, what am I doing? People were picking me up at the airport that didn't speak English. I didn't know them. I'm like, what am I thinking? But I did it anyway. Because I had done all the pre-work. I'm like, I can't back out. My sister backed out, but I can't. So I went, and I wound up meeting my husband there. We got married. He came back here with me. So many exciting things happened. And then from there, lots of things opened up over the years. Lots of things.
Yes, you're so right. Then even that moment that is so scary, or that was so scary for you, and I understand traveling. Today it's even a different story, but it's always, when you leave for the first time your country, is always a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yes.
But let me also share with you, I've done a lot of traveling in my life, and yeah, we have to be always cautious. I also went I should have done that. But for most of the time, people are welcoming and friendly. And even though it's a different culture, you
Right.
see that just like you and me. We all want to have a happy, healthy life.
Yep.
That's really what it comes down to.
And that's
And
exactly what I found out when I went to Germany. These German people are just like, they want all the same things. And that's worldwide. If you do a lot of traveling, that's what you find out. Every culture is just like us. They want a family, they want children, they want all the same thing. They want a house, they want a job, they want all the same things we do. Absolutely. I found that out right away as a young person.
And on top of that, when you learn other cultures and get to know other people, those others, quote unquote, are not so scary anymore.
No, no.
They are just human beings. And for me, that was the biggest learning and the biggest experiences doing those world travels
Right.
that taught me so many lessons, and I think made me a better person because I was more open.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you met your husband there, and it's so
Yep.
funny. You married a German, and I married an American.
Yep. It is a riot. I
Yes,
always
yes.
say I brought him back as a souvenir.
Yeah,
He's
here
my
you
he's my
go.
souvenir from Germany.
So, did he come with you right away? Did you have a long distance relationship first?
No, we didn't. He was a merchant marine at the time, and when I met him, he was home because his appendix burst. So he had came home on vacation, and then in the meantime, his appendix burst, and he was in the hospital. He was in the hospital a long time, and then I started working for his father, who had remarried and had two young children, and I was the nanny. They didn't
Ah,
speak, the kids didn't speak English, neither did the parents. I didn't speak German, but you figure it out. And when they can get a nanny, they take it. They don't care whether you speak the language because nannies are in short supply. So he got his son, when he got out of the hospital, come and explain to me what my duties were because I didn't speak German. It was a riot. So he met me and he said right away, I'm going to marry you. And I laughed. I laughed. Yeah, right. You just met me. So anyway, we started dating and he never wound up going back to the merchant marine. He stayed home after that. And then we got married and he came with me to the States right away. After a year, I said, I'm homesick. I have to go home. I'm so homesick. So I actually flew home before him because our plan was that we were going to go to Bremerhaven, get on a boat together, and work for a year. I would have loved that, see more of the world. But when we got married that year, the whole East Coast was shut down. There wasn't a port open from anywhere on the East Coast. So he couldn't get a job on any of the ships. I could have gotten one with him just doing cleaning and stuff, but he couldn't get a job. And I said, well, I'm homesick. I'm going home. So we bought me a ticket. I flew home. And then he wound up coming like 6 weeks later. The ports went off strike and he got a job. And then he was able to bring all our stuff with us on the ship. And we actually brought a grandfather clock that was in his family for many years. And he put it under his bunk in his bed. So we got to bring that. We probably never would have been able to bring that. And all the wedding gifts were in a big box. He was able to bring that on board. So he came and then I went and picked him up at one of the ports and brought him home to meet my parents for the first time because they hadn't met him. They weren't able, they didn't have the money to fly over for the wedding. So they were meeting him for the first time. Of course, my mother was thrilled, a German, son-in-law. To her, that was great. She was happy. And my grandmother and they were all happy, but it was first time meeting my brothers and sisters. I'm one of 11. So it was a bit overwhelming for him. It was two brothers. That was it. So he had to come and meet all my brothers and sisters. And yeah, but he got used to it after a while. But yeah, we didn't have to go through too much of the long distance thing. Thank goodness.
got you. Yeah, I would say both of you had gumption.
Yes, I would say so. Yep. Yep.
So you just went for it, and that moment when or he knew right away, I'm gonna marry her, and I'm not surprised because
Right.
just the way you are, you're just so open and happy and friendly and so forth. Yeah, that was good. So
Right.
my husband and I, we had to go through a long distance relationship, as I shared in the book. That
Yes.
was before FaceTime, so I called it tape time versus FaceTime.
I know a lot of couples that had to do that. Were sending tape, and especially here in the United States, when your spouse or your boyfriend was in the war in Vietnam, they were exchanging tapes so they could at least hear the voice. So,
Hmm.
yeah, because
Yep.
long distance calls were way too expensive. I guess
Oh my
young
God.
people have no idea because everything can be done even free. You call someone on WhatsApp and it costs
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
we had
yes.
none of that.
My husband, I had him last week on my Saturday Live. Unfortunately, the connection was very bad. Who knows? Maybe it was a storm, whatnot. So
Right.
I had to take it down. It was just not good. It was just blurry and
I heard it
choppy.
though. I did listen to it. It was good. I liked it.
Oh, good,
I
good.
listened to it before you took it down.
Well, at least, well, I am going to. Oh, actually, it is up. So for the listeners, I
Okay.
turned it into a podcast, so you can
Okay.
listen to the interview, or our conversation was not an interview. Our
Right.
conversation on my podcast, Become Empowered. So I
Okay.
put the link in the description as well. But yeah, it was funny how he shared one story from his point of view, that he wanted to, we had to talk about something, probably a trip he did. And he got his phone bill, and with just a couple minutes, it was $40.
Yeah.
That was 35 or almost
That
40
was a
years ago.
lot of money. Yes. Yes.
It's like, whoa. So yeah, it was more challenging, but nevertheless, uh, if there is one topic that that I discussed in the book that had something to do with how we can, live a better life or become a better person, or any of the topics that you discuss in your podcast as well, that you would like to discuss from your point of view.
Well, I mean, you can't be afraid. You just have to take those steps because if you're going to sit alone in your home, you're going to get sick and die. You've got to
Yeah.
be active and out there. And one of the big things in living longer is staying social. You have to be a social being because we are social beings. So if you're not out and active with people, and interacting with people, that's going to slow you down. You're not going to live as long. You have to laughter. Laughter's the best medicine. We talk about that a lot because none of
Yes.
us laugh enough anymore. We just don't laugh. So I
Yes.
remember I remember one time when we lived in an old farmhouse and my husband used to smoke. So and he worked in construction, so we had those coveralls that paper hangers and workers used to wear, and he was smoking his cigarette. And we were arguing, but he dropped the cigarette and it went into the pocket. I started laughing and laughing, and it was such a good release. It really worked fine, but I just thought that was the funniest thing, that we're arguing and he's dropping the cigarette right in. There's like a little pocket in the top of his pants, and oh my God, we just roared. So that broke the ice. Laughter will always do that. Laughter's the best
Yes.
medicine.
And I
It
have
really
a
is.
chapter in my book that called Live More, Give More, Laugh More.
Yes,
And it
yes,
all works together. That give more is when we give
yes.
from, it can be in many different forms. If you give monetarily, obviously that's to support your charity is one thing, but also give your talent. Serve from the
Yes.
heart, right?
Yes.
And when you live more, what you said is go out, be social, have fun.
Yes.
And that fun sometimes, and I'm guilty as I speak. I'm a I can be a workaholic because I love what I do so much that
Right.
I sometimes it's hours in my home office and creating stuff, and I had to remind myself, go outside, Sabine, do
Right.
something.
Right.
And it's so funny. Just the other day, I always learn. That's part of it.
Right.
Growing is, you never want to stop growing. I
Right.
took that special AI workshop, or it was an intensive for a whole week.
Oh,
And one of the things, it was fun to learn these things because in communication, I also want to learn how we can use AI the right way and have that balance. But
yes.
what I wanted to say is the instructor there, Vishnu Lakiani, he said, um, he even worked with his mentor. I mean, the highest mentors have mentors and mentors.
They
And
do.
and so, and he shared with him some of his struggles. Or no, yes, there was this problem again, and and then he said, Stop. You are creating this because you think you strive when you have those problems and you resolve them. So more problems come. So one of the things he says, you solve every problem that comes your way in a fun and easy way. So, I'm gonna do this. But then he was one thing he said, using the technology that we have today with AI, it saves time. And
Hmm.
he said the first thing that I would recommend you doing, take your Fridays off. I said, I don't know if I can take Fridays off. There's so much that I still have to do, and have to do this and that, and put this up, and with my book. But then I said, you know what? No, do it. Just
Do
give it a
it.
try.
Yes.
And so I enrolled into the like a 1 year membership at Triumph. It is about 45 minutes, half hour from here.
Hmm.
It's a obstacle course outdoors, so you can
Wow.
climb on those obstacle course,
Right.
swing into the net. And I've done
Right.
it before, and it helped me stay healthy being outside. But
Yep.
then I moved away, so I'm just gonna stop it.
Right.
But you know what? I'm not working out as much anymore, so I made a commitment. I bought that
Good.
1 year ticket, and now on not every Friday, but at least once a month,
Right.
but hopefully every other Friday, I'm going to go out there and swing on the trees and go over bridges and zip down the line to be
Right.
out in nature and just stay active and
Yep.
fit.
Yes. One thing I did at age 66, I was at a Marshall, I forget Marshall's last name, a program he did out in Las Vegas. And while we were there, some of the people that were part of it said, "Oh, I'm going over to this hotel, and they have this ride where you jump off the building." And I'm like,
Right?
"What? You jump off a hotel building?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll go along. I might just watch." Well, I went and I did it. At 66, they put you in a big suit and they have all these harnesses on the back. You're clipped in like three different places. But then once you get up, you're on a wire rack thing, standing on that, looking out at the Las Vegas skyline. It was scary. It took me a couple minutes to jump off. The guy kept saying, "Go, go, you're okay, go." And I'm like, "I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready." But I did finally jump, and I have that on tape. It is on, if you go to my website, kickassboomers.com, up at the top, you can watch me jump off the, can't even remember the name of the hotel right now. Stratosphere, I think it was called. And I
Uh-huh.
jumped off, and it's very scary when you first jump, and then it's fine. After you take that first step, everything's fine. And I landed very smoothly because they kind of slow you down near the end. It was so I learned an important thing. Take that first step. That's the scariest. Once you've done that, everything else is a piece of cake. That's
Oh,
what I
wow.
learned.
Yes. So
Yep.
it was not the bungee jumping where you go up and
No, it
down. So
wasn't bunny. You're not jumping up. They're just kind of gliding down, but you've got to take that step off the building and then it kind of lets you go down slowly.
yes, I know what you're talking about. In that obstacle course, that outdoor obstacle
Yes.
course, there
Right.
is one plank where you can you can lower yourself down or going down the steps,
Uh-huh.
but that lowering down. So of course you're also harnessed in,
Right.
but it's not something when you pull on that what is it line that it's resistance. No, you have to step out. Just what you explained,
You do.
and
Yes.
I stood there too for like, oh gosh, and it was not even deep, right?
Right, right. This was big. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Yep. but I
Yeah.
did it. So that teaches you that anything that scares you, you can do. Just take that first step. It's not scary after the first step. The first step can be very scary, but after that, it's not.
Isn't that a great metaphor?
Yeah. Why limit
And
yourself?
yes, yes. And when I turned 60, I said to myself, okay, I want to this is okay. Now coming up to the later part, and I want to remember every birthday. I want to make it count, and I want to do something that scares me a little bit. So, I gave myself a birthday gift that day, and that for that special day, and that was um, jumping out of an airplane.
Wow.
So,
That's even scarier.
so but the good thing is you are with the instructor, right?
Right.
You
Right.
know, however, there's no safety net. Well, of course, the parachute, right?
Right.
Um, but it's pretty up high, and the thing is, I wanted to do it for so many years because people say, "Oh, you have to just try it. It's scary," but as a metaphor, do something
Right.
that scares you. And I've never gone around doing this, and I said, "I'm going to do it." So we went, and let me tell you, when we were up there and you couldn't see anything, just clouds and somewhere in the distance, and then we moved forward, and there was no turning. Of course, I could have said no, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there was no turning back, and we creeped forward, and then there was the door, and there was nothing. And you can watch it too. I have it on my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. I'll have to watch
Yeah,
it.
yes. But read my lips, and it starts with SH.
I think I might have said that too. I think I might have said that too. Very
Oh my gosh.
scary. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
yes, yes. Oh
Oh,
my gosh. How much fun. And we laughed too, right?
yep,
So,
yep.
uh,
So the lesson is do what scares you. And then you'll
yes,
find out nothing is scary after that.
exactly. And this is a great metaphor. You can put it to anything in your life. So just go
Yes.
for it.
Yep.
Oh, Terry, it was such a wonderful conversation today, and thank you for coming on and sharing your point of view and how you experienced the advanced reading of my book Gumption.
Yep.
And if any of the readers are interested to get an advanced copy, I will put the information in the description. You can pre-order your book at, if you're here in the States, at Barnes and Nobles or wherever you are and wherever your bookstore is, you can pre-order it.
Right.
And then if you send me just a screenshot of the receipt, yes, I did it, because you are not getting the book until August. However, I will give you the e-version of the book, the advanced reader's copy now, so you can read it. And then, of course, if you're interested to come on my show, Saturday Live, to share your experience, you're always welcome to do so. And that's it. This was our Saturday Live. Once again, Terry, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
And if you have any questions, you can always find me. If you want to talk with me, go to talktosabine.com. Bye bye now. Always remember, serve from the heart. Follow your heart. Serve with passion. And then you can live the life